And then instead of journaling, we're going to start by just whatever comes up when you sense and feel into your heart. We're going to take a moment just to kind of draw whatever is coming up for you. And then I may or may not add some journal prompts to it in a while. But we're going to take a fair amount of time to really get that time to listen. And then at any point, you can wait until she's done, or you can just start drawing as she's singing. And that's what we're going to do. And what's the goal? Yeah. Okay, so the goal is, when you think of your heart, going back to the first cue of like, when you think of heart chakra, your heart, what comes up for you? And so it doesn't have to be words. A lot of people, when they did it for their back last week, it was just like what colors came out, and then it became images, and it like whatever comes up. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody, so just whatever comes through you. This is a way of getting a little bit more left-brained, and instead of using words, just seeing like what colors you're magnetized to, and the images may be very clear or make no sense at all to anybody else, but maybe it's a release of emotions or energy that's just kind of working through your hand. So that may not sound clear either, but that's okay. Like, it's kind of what happens when your hand starts moving on the paper.
In relation to heart.
In relation to heart. Mm-hmm.
Just be tuning into all of the words that I heard us all share when we think about the heart. And I'll see what comes through. And I do invite you to draw, to let your eyes close, even move around the room. Just let yourself be with your heart.
share what came up, what came through for them?
I'll tell you what I didn't notice. I didn't use any blue or green. I don't know, I just didn't see anything besides yellow, red, orange. A little bit of brown at some point, but
Yeah.
I don't know why I noticed that. Just didn't have the urge. I don't know what that means.
Thank you.
I was hoping for the color purple, and
Me too.
searching.
I tried to make it. It doesn't look like purple.
I tried to mix.
Oh, I mixed. That didn't work. No, it doesn't work.
It didn't work.
Sorry, I kind of cut it into your share with an
That
emphatic.
was it. I felt like I wanted purple, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Next time, ladies.
No fault of yours.
I suck.
Shame.
Shame, shame, shame. Value
How
worth.
dare you not pick all the colors of the chakras?
I was like, you know, there were 12 colors in the box. I thought, how could that not have it all? Purple and pink. I wanted some pink too. Red and white just didn't do it. I tried, but yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
I tried. Yeah. Any other deep thoughts? Color blending.
This was a really different experience for me than when we did the back last time. Because the back, I don't just wherever I was at, it was starting with the spine, and then today it was just like totally this much more fluid, like emotional thing. You know, what first came to me was this like kind of red, fiery, hot, spirally, jaggedy emotion, and then instantly also just this flow, just like waving and spiraling. It was just such a visual representation of, for me, our capacity to hold it all and to feel it all. And it was just, and I was going back and forth. It wasn't, it was just very flowy for me, but also super, I kept feeling like maybe I should put something else in them. No, I like this space. I want more space. I want just this capacity. And it just, yeah, it was really cool. Just to compare to last time. Yeah, the experience.
Yeah.
It was very similar. Last time it was very concrete what I wanted to draw, very image focused. And today I had a hard time tuning into the vibration and really didn't want to draw. And then when I decided to just start drawing, it was like I wanted to capture energy, which is it turned into kind of like a tornado of being sucked in. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was more like energy and emotion drawing than anything concrete. Well, last time it was very concrete.
Funny you said tornadoes because I found myself literally visually creating tornadoes.
Yeah.
And I usually, if I do this kind of thing, I'm pretty specific with a pattern, and there was no pattern. I was like, all right, let's just see what happens. But the tornadoes, they kept coming. You got one, now you're two, now you're three. But the underlying mix is this whole swirling thing and straight lines.
I had a lot of swirling too, almost like interlocking infinities.
I just kept going, and I don't know.
I was working really hard to not overthink it. I can get really in my head when it comes to this kind of stuff. I can get really in my head, and period. So I was just not trying to overthink it, and I ended up drawing like this drawing that I remembered, like the sun and the flowers and stuff that I used to draw as a kid, and I had free paper. And what I also noticed was that I had to cut my paper in half because the big white piece of paper felt really daunting and scary. That I had to fill it all, but it was almost like overwhelming to have that much blank space. I loved coloring books as a kid, guardrails. It's true. So anyway, I cut it in half because that felt like I didn't need to be a hero and I didn't have
mine into a square too. There was something, the shape wasn't something to me either. And I just really wanted more space for a circle.
I find it really interesting that a lot of us were drawn to circles and spirals and round shapes.
What did Sophia say about the heart yesterday? She's like, when I was in the gym with my daddy, my heart started beating faster. And you said, like, what is your heart? And she said, like, well, there are circles spinning in it.
My heart has circles in it.
Yeah. And she said, like,
I was like, it does? Really? Is that true?
She's up close to source, it
Yeah.
might be true.
I did the swirls as soon as you started, like with the bowl. It was just like all of a sudden like.
I wonder if that influenced with it too.
Well, it's hilarious. I just realized I basically drew a bunch of my bowls.
What's going on in your world?
What's going on? Oh yeah, lots of bowls. No, but it is. I was just kind of feeling, so I was playing obviously for a while you were all drawing, and I was just feeling into everybody, and then it was just like expanding out and expanding out and expanding out, and so I was thinking of the colors of the earth, and that we're just all interconnected, right? So I think for me it was like just all of these overlapping circles that felt representative of, I think, when the heart chakra is just totally open and a group of us can come together in that open energy, it's this experience of unity. But maybe it's just a bunch of bowls. This is literally what I was doing.
This is my soul talking or muscle memory.
It's just
Or muscle memory.
I love that.
Answer to the both.
Did you do that freehand?
What do you mean?
Those circles?
yeah.
Oh, I thought you had a bowl.
It's like somewhere.
Perfect circles.
Maybe that's from practice.
Yes, yes.
The years after Sophia was born, I feel like maybe I said it to you too, like sometime while I was walking through the woods, I just like had this urge and I never actually did it. And maybe even before Sophia was born, to paint again, because I used to paint a lot in college. And to me, it's so interesting, like we all heard the same sound, we all had the same discussion, that you put something, you put colors in someone's hand in a piece of paper, and what comes out, like without much conscious thought of like, I'm gonna draw that lamp and bowl up there, like it's like just what the hand does, and all the unconscious that gets to be expressed, even if it doesn't maybe it makes sense and maybe it doesn't make full sense yet, and almost kind of like the way free movement can move through the 5 koshas without us having to name it. I think there's so much beauty in going into these realms that are unnameable. We put so much emphasis in like concrete material that we've learned versus just going into that unnameable place. Last week when we talked about the back body and we did a lot of breathing, like partner breathing, of putting your hands on your partner's back as they lay down and watching them breathe and seeing where the breath wasn't going. And 2 people noticed that where they had injuries was where their partner kept putting their hand, and that part of their body wasn't moving with the breath. And the practice of just bringing awareness to these places of isolation or stillness, that simply by having somebody being willing to like see you and observe you and bring attention to you, and then you get to bring it to yourself to a place that you haven't even noticed, that you can start to breathe into it. And one of the questions that came up was like, oh, I wonder what stopped me from breathing there. But the beauty of this work is like, you don't always have to name it. That just by breathing back into that space, we can start to release energy and emotions, and and it can happen through art and through dancing and being seen and holding space, and just like all the different ways that we can help to move things through us. So yeah, like whether or not we know exactly what's going on, or if it's revealed something clear to you or not, I do find it amazing that the hands just start, like as soon as the paper and the crayons come out, whether people don't want to do it or they do, there is a certain like shift of energy in the room too. So thanks for playing.
Yeah.
All right, so you can roll them up or put them away however you like. After the last one that we did, I think I ended up keeping mine, but I was saying, if you want with the, next full moon, if you do a burning ceremony, you could always burn and release.